To be triggered is to have one's buttons pushed by another self's actions or words, or by a situation event that leads to a significantly charged emotional or mental experience. But what is the spiritual meaning of triggers, and what are the mechanics of this process in which we seem to respond not just to the action or event at hand, right in front of us, but to a whole stream of past or future memories? For the sake of illustration, and as the most basic example of how this mechanism works, take listening to a song, or smelling an aroma, or looking at a sunset. What complex emotions, memories, and ideas can come from triggers as simple as these sensual ones? Then take conversing with a colleague about work and ending up being wrong about something while the colleague is right. This experience may trigger us in such a way echoes of vibrationally similar experiences of failure may inform the situation at hand, that even a small-scale fight could ensue that in hindsight would be seen as totally regrettable and unnecessary. At the very moment we smell that scent or hear that song or have that conversation with a colleague, this triggering mechanism starts digging deep within our subconscious minds, searching for stored data, memories that have similar frequency. When found, the data is activated, thereby enforcing and loading the experience of the situation at hand with subconscious energy that can be very unpredictable, precisely because it is subconscious, as in we are not entirely conscious of the full data, which in turn may short-circuit our energy matrix and lead to us being triggered. It's clear then that when we are triggered, we are partially functioning out of our subconscious minds, which would explain the resulting overpowering emotional overflows, which can be of a pleasant or unpleasant character. Triggers seem to have the function of taking control over and being able to change the value of our frequency. If seen as a line on a graph, triggers are situated at the precise points where the line goes up a value or down a value as we progress down the timeline. The great news is that even though triggers are mostly discussed as negative events, we can certainly be triggered in a positive way. This triggering mechanism can also be discussed from a spiritual perspective as the dark being triggered by the light. The realm of polarity is the dance of light and dark, and we all embody this dance in our life experience. These two phases of existence are the building blocks of everything that manifests within polarity's realities. From the microcosm to the macrocosm, and everything that exists in between is a result of the dance of light and dark. Fascinatingly similarly, and as an illustration, in computer language this duality is expressed in ones and zeros. Two phases, two states of being, infinite combinations that build the entire virtual and digital world as we know it. The awareness of this dance and the contemplation of its significance may help us reach deeper within our own consciousness and closer to the memory of our identity, source. Visualize a triggering situation and see it in terms of light and dark. See every element of the experience and deconstruct them down to their most basic building blocks. See where the light is present and identify everything that may block it. They say that dark is naturally threatened by the light. That is because it is only a byproduct of whatever it is that blocks the light. The dark we talk about here is but the shadows of the blocks we create. So visualize the situation and see where the light flows in you and in the other self, and find out where the blocks are. Meditate on what may have created them, and proceed with the healing process, starting with conscious integration and transmutation. This is the essence of what we're here to do. This is our spiritual work. The blocks, of course, are of major importance in this discussion, for they are what make this a polarity-duality reality. If it wasn't for them, this would be a higher density existence. Consequently, removing the blocks would bring this higher realm into manifestation, the essence of what the process of atonement, redemption, and ascension is. This spiritual work is enabled and granted to us by our other selves, as it is them that offer us these triggers, these catalysts, these opportunities to see the situation in terms of light and dark, identify the blocks, and bring forth the light. When visualizing and analyzing a given situation in terms of light and dark, it is worth noting that it is often easier for us to recognize when our light triggers the dark within another self than when our own darkness gets triggered by another self's light, because we naturally see the world from our point of view, meaning we tend to think we have the right on our side. Having said that, it is also often the case during the process of deconstructing a situation down to the elements of light and dark that we tend to let go of the barriers between ourselves and the other selves, as it becomes clear that consciousness is all that is, our human bodies being the vehicles for channeling of consciousness. In simple terms, the realm we seem to inhabit is the dance of polarity, the dance of light and dark, and it looks and feels we are all being generously given catalysts, day in and day out, opportunities to deconstruct this reality, find the blocks, and bring forth the light, bring forth the higher realm existence and the memory of our identity, an identity that in classic paradoxical terms is all the more enriched through our spiritual work on this realm, as it is an identity that never did and never will ever change, for we are part of eternity itself.